Okay, so hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video I've got quite a kind of serious topic to go over, and I was meant to film this video earlier but I fell asleep. Obviously it's me, but you know I don't really do serious videos, so I have to incorporate something into it. So I thought I would do a bit of skincare. So I've got some random products that I just went in my little fridge over there and found. And yeah, I'm going to do a bit of skincare while I'm doing this. Please ignore my hair. I just it's still wet from the shower. I've already washed my face, so let's get into the video. So I'm going to be talking about 2 years now. Today is the 4th of Jan, and it's 2 years since my original diagnosis. And I thought I would just go over a few things and just talk a little bit about my story. So it's probably going to be a long one, so grab a drink, grab a snack, and yeah, let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tweeze my eyebrows in the middle. I don't like tweezing my eyebrows, so I very rarely do it, and I'm not bothered about having a monobrow or unibrow, whatever people call it, but I'm going to do it today. So on the halfway through December, so the 15th of December 2018, I started experiencing pain in my left knee, and at the time I was doing a lot of sport. I was running every day, I was participating, I think that's how you say it, in school activities, and generally just doing a lot of sport that I would normally do, and I had grew quite a lot as well. And me and my dad got into a conversation and I just explained it to him, and he said maybe just rest up a bit, don't go running for a little bit, and basically just see how I get on, see if the pain continues. The pain then went away, and on the 26th of December 2018 I went to my uncle's house. And that night I started to experience a lot of pain, like a lot of aching pain, and started to experience unusual things. And at night I couldn't sleep because I was in so much pain, and obviously that's just not normal. So it started to get increasingly worse, and even if someone tapped my knee or my shin, it would really hurt. I would be in tears, and I've got quite a good strong pain tolerance, and basically we got home from my uncle's a few days later, and my dad said, I'll book you in with the GP, because I never complain ever. Even throughout my treatment I never complained, apart from when I was on the liver ward and I had to take 40 tablets a day, but obviously that's understandable. It was just because I kept forgetting to take a med and just had a bit of a meltdown. So I got quite a good pain tolerance. I'd never complained, none of that. So my dad thought it was a bit unusual straight away. Finally got an appointment with the GP on the 3rd of January 2019, where he examined my leg, and this obviously caused me extreme pain and told me it was ligament damage. And my dad does a lot of sport and stuff, so he knew straight away that he wasn't happy with it, just because I had sensation when my toes were being dipped in hot water and stuff. He knew in his head that it just wasn't normal. So my dad expressed his feelings towards the GP, and the GP said, would you be happy if I sent you to the hospital for a x-ray? And my dad said yes. So we wrote out the referral, we went straight down there. We actually biked there because I was struggling to walk, and biking was a lot easier than walking. And got to hospital, had the x-ray. We got back home, and because it had been quite a painful morning / day for me and my dad just put on a film. It was a Christmas film, I'm pretty sure, and just chilled out for a bit. My dad had left his phone in his coat in the cupboard, so obviously he didn't hear it going off, but he had 8 missed calls from the GP, from the hospital, from like a big hospital nearby, and he listened to his voicemail. He said that a certain doctor was coming to visit, and she had a clinic on Friday, and that she wants to talk to me about my x-ray, but it's nothing to worry about, which is a common phrase you'll hear a lot if you're a cancer patient. But we went in on the Friday, like obviously January the 4th, and she sat me down. We were in like the fraction unit, so I was going to, my dad already knew because he'd googled the consultant's name and it came up with paediatric oncology, but he didn't say anything to me because he thought they might not actually say that. But she sat me down and went, "Keris, I'm sorry to tell you, but you have bone cancer." At the time I was 13, and as soon as she said it I just burst out into tears. Obviously, normal human reaction. It's such a serious thing and you just don't know how aggressive it is and stuff. Fast forward a few weeks, I go for a biopsy, which is where they take some of the tumour and test it to see what grade it is and officially diagnose me. So I got diagnosed with grade 4 osteosarcoma. Grade 5 is the most aggressive one for my cancer, and it basically, grade 5 is where it's already spread, but grade 4 is very aggressive but localised. So I had loads of tests, loads of scans, all of that, and at that point my tumour was 7 by 5 centimetres. I think it was February the 15th, I went for my central Hickman line to be put in and one of my ovaries to be taken out, because if you didn't know, cancer chemotherapy kills your ovaries, so not 100% but most likely to. And obviously when you're 13 I had to make that decision for my ovary to be taken out, because if I didn't want the surgery at first because I thought an ovary was really big. It's not, they take it through your belly button. But yeah, that was me being a bit silly there. So that is how it all started, and I told my school on the 15th. I went for surgery on the 13th and I told my school on the 15th. I managed to keep it a secret, but I was on crutches and I actually got bullied. So people would take the crutches, people would call me names. Sometimes I would walk without my crutches if it was a good day. And I get called faker, attention seeker and stuff. And obviously that's not very nice, especially when you're hiding something big like that. So never, ever, ever judge someone because of if they walk on crutches, and they just tell you that it's ligament damage, because technically it kind of was, right? But yeah, and then 3 days after that, I started chemo. I'm gonna use this Nivea moisturiser to moisturise my neck, and this Clinique moisturiser to moisturise my face. I started chemo and I was in for 5 days, and within, I think it was 4 days of being home, my hair fell out in massive chunks, and I actually donated my hair to Little Princess Trust, and yeah, raised some money for them. But my best friend actually came round to support me when I shaved it off, and then I think it was like a week and a half after. Sorry if this is really brief, this isn't like a full in-depth kind of thing. I don't know why I wiped that on my face, that wasn't meant to go on my face. I started a chemo called methotrexate at Birmingham Children's Hospital, and turns out I'm actually allergic to it. So I had the full chemo dose and I was so unwell with it, and came home, went back for a thing to see if I could, a examination to see if I was ready for my next dose of methotrexate, and they told me that my liver was failing. at that point I was in the hospital for 12 weeks. And I got told, like, I didn't get told, my dad got told that I wasn't going to make it, that my liver was more likely to kill me than my cancer, and that I was sleeping for like 28 hours a day. I had to be picked up to stand up and stuff, and every time I would eat I would be sick, but then I would eat again because I was just hungry. I had ulcers all in my mouth, down my throat, into my stomach, and it was just generally a horrible experience. I'm going to use this like Revolution 5% ATP thing. But we got sent home and my liver, I'm not meant to touch my face with it. My liver started regenerating. So it started to like fix itself, even though it hadn't been the whole time we were in hospital. As soon as we went home, I started talking, started sitting up, started communicating, because I stopped talking for ages, and I started going blind as well. And I did wear glasses before, by the way. My eyesight's better than it was before I was diagnosed, which is weird. But yeah, it was just such a scary experience, and not many people at my school actually know about it. Like, when I bring it up, or when we're talking about something that happened to us or whatever, I bring that up and people are like, whoa, that actually happened. I'm like, yes it did. That was so scary. On May the 24th, I had my amputation, and then I think it was a month after that, I started chemo again, and everything was going well. And my last chemo, obviously you go in with infections and all of like the little things, but things started to get a bit better. I'm going to use this Tatcha, the Dewy Skin Cream. By the way, I did not buy this. I would never ever spend as much money, like this much money, on a product. I actually won it in a giveaway. But yeah, obviously you go in for like infections, a few ambulance rides here and there, and then all of a sudden my platelets just stopped like recovering, so they were just staying very low, and I had to cancel my last 2 chemotherapies because of it. And I've still got low platelets now, so I've been referred to the blood specialist. And obviously stopping 2 chemos is a constant worry on your mind. If it does come back, you think, well, would those chemos would have stopped it? Blah, blah, blah. Just general things like that. But I always think, well, if it has come back, we can deal with it. We can deal with it in some way, shape or form. So that's my little tip to you guys, fellow cancer patients listening, or watching. And I continued with mifemertide, which was my day treatments. I'm going to use this Fasali volcanic elixir thing just on like my problem areas, I think they're called, where my spots are. And yeah, so I finished the mifemertide. My last one was on March the 5th, 2020, and since then COVID hit, and I still haven't rang the bell. Like, there's been, that's gone, I'll clean that off after. There's been a lot of things go wrong, basically. Like, I had to have a colonoscopy because I was suffering from really bad stomach problems, and all general stuff like that. Cancer never stops, right? Just put this out there. It never stops. It never, like, you never just don't have any more problems. There's always, like 110% always something going on. Obviously it's not with every cancer, but most cancer patients do experience things like this. I'm gonna let this like dry while I talk to you. So I had that, and then my platelets still weren't recovering, and obviously COVID delayed everything. I finally got my line out, and yeah, just officially in remission on May the 4th. That was my May the 4th, 2020 was my official day of remission. I'm not cancer free till 5 years after my last treatment because osteosarcoma comes back so quickly and just so aggressively. Like, it's just such an aggressive cancer that you just never know when it's going to fully go away. Like, you have to wait 5 years. All scans have to be clear. So it's a constant worry. I was meant to have a bone marrow aspirate on the 6th of Jan, so in 2 days, which has been cancelled because of low staff. This is the 3rd time it's been cancelled. So hopefully COVID can just go away, because I, for one, I know, like, basically everyone has had enough. I've had enough of it. But, yeah. Everything is just so stressful at the moment. And I just want to let everyone know that if you are diagnosed, going through it, finished, and you just need someone to talk to that has gone through something similar, my Instagram, Facebook, email is all down below. Like, just message me anytime, and I'm quite good at replying. So yeah, basically. But I just want to add in a little thing here. So 2 years. 2 years of needles, hospital appointments, hospital bed, like, you never stop. This will go on forever now, and obviously I have long-term consequences, let's say that, from cancer. So obviously I have my amputation, I have my liver, I have my platelets, like, and I have fertility and cells, and it just never stops in a way. I'm gonna put on some Vaseline. But I just want to say that I made it. I made it, and that's all that matters. I've made so many amazing friends throughout this thing, and some of them who are sadly no longer with us are always in my heart. They're always in my heart. I'm always thinking about them, and I miss them so much. Even though I wasn't that close to them, it's still such a big thing, and no one my age should have to lose their friends at all. Like, no matter what the situation is, no one should have to lose a friend, especially to this awful, awful disease. I've lost loads of school friends through this, but do you know what? I'm over it now. I obviously don't need them. I've made it through without them. And that is just such a big thing for me, that I can go through the most horrendous time and still, like, be smiling throughout it, because positivity makes such a difference. But yeah, I did it. I did it. It's such an overwhelming feeling to say that, and the road is not over, it's far from over. I'm going to use this as well, just a little bit on my nose. Oh, please don't come at me for that. But I did it, like, complications and all that still, but you know what? We can deal with those. We can deal with the little things. But I love all of the people that have stuck by me, whether that's on my Instagram, in person, like, family members, anyone that has stuck by me throughout this treatment. I love you all so much, and I'm so grateful for you all. Without you, this would have been a very lonely, like, treatment, like, life thing. Just a little thing as well. I've missed out on my teenage years, basically. I'm 15 now, I'm almost 16. I'm 16 in 2 months and 25 days. And I've missed out on all of that. So for people complaining about missing their teenage years because of COVID, like missing so much school because of COVID, just imagine going through something like this. And I can't imagine what it's like going through it with COVID, because obviously I'm not in the hospital while COVID's been around. But But it's such a lonely experience. So even before COVID, people were out partying and stuff and still living their life. We had no choice. We still have no choice. If you get diagnosed when you're 12 and the treatment's 3 years long, that's 3 years of your life gone. Like, it sounds really weird to say it like that, but it's true. It takes away your freedom. And there was times where I couldn't even get changed, get a shower. Like, I was just physically, like, not able to do anything. So before you complain about missing 6 months of school, before you complain about not being able to go out in like a field or out with your friends, have a party or whatever, just think, this is what I always think as well, your situation could be worse. So when I'm having a proper down day, which it doesn't happen very often, and I don't want to get out of bed, I just think, I'm still here, I'm still breathing, I'm alive. And that's how I start my day when I'm having a bad day. Unfortunately, not as many people are as lucky as me, and it's so hard to understand what losing a child, losing a friend is like, because I've lost friends, but I haven't lost a child, and I haven't lost like my best friend or whatever. Obviously, it's so sad losing people, and I wish I could bring them all back. But I'm fighting, and for them, basically, I want to live for them. I want to do things that they would want to do and stuff, and just basically just be like, oh, it's hard to explain, like, be grateful that I'm still here, like, be grateful that I'm still breathing and I'm still here on this earth, because it can all be taken away from you overnight. But I think that's all left to say is that thank you for all the friends, the support I've had throughout my whole treatment. And my dad's probably going to tell me off for this, but F you cancer, honestly, just leave, like, just F you. But yeah, this was a very different video. I know it's quite long, and I know it's a bit all over the place, but I just wanted to put this out there for my 2-year thing. But I'll see you all in the next video.